Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Narayanan and you're watching AP for Teens' AP Psychology series. Today we're going to be talking about the thinkers and multitaskers that we didn't talk about in the last video. So let's get started. If you look in the top right hand corner where that arrow, where the hand is pointing, you will see the annotation box for that previous video. We discussed 3 of 7 different psychologists that we're going to be discussing over the last video. In this video, here are those 7 psychologists: René Descartes, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, Charles Darwin, Wilhelm Wundt, Edward Titchener, and William James. Now last time we talked about the 3 you can see right there: René Descartes, John Locke, and Thomas Hobbes. Now since we've already discussed them, we don't need to discuss them again. Today we're going to be discussing Charles Darwin, William Wundt, Edward Titchener, and William James. So let's begin. Charles Darwin, you can see him in the top right hand corner. He's probably the one that you're most familiar with. Born February 12, 1809, died April 19, 1882, he was an English naturalist, geologist, and also a psychologist, best known for his idea of evolution, which you may have discussed in any biology class that you've ever or will be taking. Now, his achievements: he wrote a book called On the Origins of Species in 1859. Now, this proposed natural selection, the idea that all creatures have evolved over a long period of time, and the variation of animals lead to better animals in the future. As animals continue to evolve and survive, they become better of themselves, being able to pass those traits on to their next of kin, and eventually leading to better animals in the future. He provided the idea of evolutionary theory, providing a way to explain the differences between different species, and allows for animals to be able to be used to study humans. William Wundt, background knowledge on him, you can see him in the top right. Born August 16, 1832, and died August 31, 1920. He was a German physician, physiologist, philosopher, and professor. So he had a very found opinion on having jobs that start with the letter P. He coined the term psychologist, another job that starts with the letter P, and is regarded as the father of experimental psychology. Now, his biggest achievements, beside that, obviously, thank him for the AP exam. He opened a laboratory to study consciousness, and he believed that that was extremely important to being able to study psychology in general. He wanted to use physiology to study the mind, and thought that studying the body would be able to allow someone to understand the mind, as you can see there. Now, Edward Titchener, background knowledge on him: born January 11, 1867, and died August 3, 1927, a British student of Wundt for many, many years, and created the largest doctoral program in the United States. His first graduate student, which was Margaret Floyd Washburn, would also become the first woman to get a PhD in psychology. Now, his biggest achievements were that he brought psychology to the United States, allowing us to be wonderfully acclaimed psychologists along with many others, and have an AP exam. Whoop-de-doo. He wanted to know all of the parts of the mind, thinking that knowing this would allow us to understand the mind in general. This is eventually brought up to be structuralism, which is looking for patterns in thought, which are illuminated through interviews with the subject, talking about their different conscious experiences, which is called introspection. Finally, William James, born January 11, 1842, died August 26, 1910, an American philosopher and psychologist who was also a trained physician, and was the first educated to offer a psychology course in the United States. You can notice that all of these people are teachers. His biggest achievements: he believed that structuralism was a bunch of malarkey, pointless. He thought it was important that the functions were understood and not necessarily the pieces, which leads to the idea of how important the mind fulfills a purpose. This is called functionalism, which is another type of study. And speaking of studies, next time we're going to be talking about the different approaches of psychology. There are a number of different approaches, each one of them just as interesting as the next. That's actually all we're going to be discussing today. Rather quick video. Now, a quick question to you guys: which philosopher do you agree with? Leave in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Subscribe, leave a comment, or like. Follow me or the channel on any of the links in the description, and I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. As always, take care.